What if the greatest act of self-betrayal is keeping a promise to someone else? What if that tightness in your chest, the specific, heavy ache that flares up when old friends tell you that you haven't changed a bit isn't a sign of loyalty, but the symptom of a dying soul? What if being the reliable friend, the easygoing sibling, or the compromising partner is actually destroying you from the inside out? Look closely at your own life. You know the exact physical sensation I am talking about. You sit at a dinner table. Someone brings up an old memory. They laugh at a joke you used to find funny. You force a smile. Your jaw feels tight. The air in the room suddenly feels thick, like you are breathing through a damp woolen coat. You are playing the role of a ghost, haunting your own life. Everyone around that table loves this ghost. They praise it. They depend on it. But you are quietly suffocating under the crushing weight of their affection. We are taught from a very young age that loyalty is an absolute virtue. We are told to remember where we came from, to honor the people who knew us when we were young, foolish, or broken. Society labels the act of walking away as selfish. It labels changing your mind, your personality, or your core values as a deep betrayal of your roots. But think about it. Truly think about the mechanics of this expectation. Loyalty to a dead version of yourself is nothing less than psychological suicide. The absolute necessity of disappointing the people you love is not a character flaw. It is the absolute prerequisite for your psychological survival. You have to let them down. You have to shatter their comfortable image of you. If you do not disappoint them, you will slowly and meticulously murder yourself just to keep them warm. Carl Jung, the pioneer of depth psychology, looked closely at the ancient art of alchemy. He did not care about turning physical lead into literal gold. He saw alchemy as a map of the human psyche, and in this map there is a phase called Putrefactio, the rotting, the decay, the blackening. In the alchemical process, before a new, higher substance can be born, the old material must completely blacken and decompose. It must rot down to its absolute base elements. It must die completely. Jung understood that human identity works the exact same way. This is the descent into the underworld, the Nikia. Most people spend their entire lives trying to skip the rotting phase. They desperately want the shiny new persona, the higher consciousness, the peace, without ever letting the old self decompose. They drag their rotting psychological corpse into every new phase of their life because they are too utterly terrified to let it go. And what is worse, they let other people feed off that corpse. Notice how this plays out in the real world. You outgrow a destructive habit. You stop drinking, or you stop engaging in endless complaining, or you simply lose your appetite for mindless drama. Your social circle reacts. But they do not react with joy. They react with subtle hostility. They tell you that you are acting superior. They say they miss the fun you, the old you, the relaxed you. Listen carefully to what they are actually saying. What they are telling you is, your rotting corpse was comfortable for us. Your decay made us feel entirely safe about our own stagnation. When you refuse to let that old self rot away, you carry the stench of it everywhere you go. You smile politely at the family gathering. You agree with opinions you secretly despise just to keep the peace. You laugh at jokes that make your stomach turn. That sudden flash of nausea you feel? That is the smell of your own psychological putrefaction. It is trapped inside you because you refuse to let it break down. You are holding it in to protect the feelings of people who only love a hallucination of who you used to be. Modern psychology and self-help offer terrible advice for this specific pain. They tell you to set boundaries. They tell you to communicate your needs clearly. They tell you to find a compromise. This is a lie. Boundaries do not work when you are dealing with the literal death of an identity. You cannot negotiate with a ghost. And you cannot politely ask someone to stop loving a version of you that no longer exists in reality. Communication assumes there is a middle ground. There is absolutely no middle ground between being alive and being dead. You cannot be 30% your new, authentic self and 70% the old, compliant self just to make Sunday dinners less awkward. The compromise is a slow poison. To survive this, we must look to the ancient Taoist philosopher Chuang Tzu and his concept of the useless tree. Chuang Tzu tells the story of a carpenter who encounters a massive, ancient, gnarled tree. The carpenter looks at this magnificent giant and declares it entirely useless. He says, "Its branches are too twisted to make good timber. If you made a boat from it, the boat would sink. If you made a door from it, the door would leak sap and rot." The carpenter walks away in disgust. Later that night, the great tree appears to the carpenter in a dream. The tree speaks to him and says, "If I were useful, if my wood was straight and perfect for your needs, I would have been chopped down long ago. My uselessness is exactly what allowed me to grow this old and this tall. To your old circle of friends, your family, and sometimes even your partner, your new self must become the useless tree. You can no longer serve their emotional needs in the way you once did. You can no longer play the designated role of the jester, the mediator, the punching bag, or the endlessly reliable sidekick. You must become completely useless to the projections and demands of others. You must let their expectations slide right off your bark. Only when you strip away your utility to others can you finally grow to your natural height. It is going to hurt. Let us not romanticize this process for a single second. The descent into the underworld is terrifying, lonely, and profoundly dark. When you start disappointing people, the guilt will physically ache inside your bones. It will manifest as brutal insomnia. You will stare at the dark ceiling at 2 a.m, replaying the exact look of hurt on a friend's face, or the silent, heavy disappointment of a parent. You will feel in those quiet hours like an absolute monster. You must understand that this feeling is the alchemy actually working. The guilt is the fire of the Putrefactio. Let it burn. Do not put it out by apologizing when you have done nothing wrong. Do not extinguish that holy fire by sliding back into old, comfortable habits just to relieve the agonizing tension in the room. Stand directly inside the fire of their disappointment. It is burning away the false persona. It is burning away the chains of your own people-pleasing nature. There is a profound, radical power in embracing the villain role temporarily. You must accept that in someone else's story, you are the bad guy. You are the one who left. You are the one who changed. You are the one who thinks they are suddenly better than everyone else. Accept their projection. Do not fight it. Do not write long, emotional text messages, trying to explain your soul's evolution to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Defending yourself only keeps you locked inside their narrative. Let them think you are cold. Let them think you are lost. Their opinion of your journey is none of your business. You must also let the old self mourn itself. You are not just grieving the loss of your friends or the distance from your family. You are deeply grieving the loss of the person you used to be. That old person served a massive purpose. That carefully constructed persona protected you when you were weak, vulnerable, and unsure of the world. It took the hits for you. Thank it for its service, and then let it die. Zen practice points to Shoshin, the beginner's mind. But when we apply this concept to our own deep identity, it means allowing yourself to be a complete stranger to yourself. For a long while after you shed the old skin, you will not know who you are. The old identity is dead and rotting away. The new identity is not entirely formed. Yet, you are standing in the void. You are floating in the terrifying, empty space between who you were and who you are becoming. Stay there. Do not rush to find a new group of friends just to define you. Do not rush into new commitments just to feel useful again. Learn to sit with the terrifying, beautiful silence of being nobody at all. Think about the sheer exhaustion you feel right now. Think about the phone call you dread answering. You see their name light up on your screen, and your entire body sags with fatigue. Why? Because you know the next hour will be a forced performance, You are a tired actor who forgot the lines to a play you absolutely hate, but the audience is screaming for a show. That dread you feel in your gut is your own soul begging you for a break. It is begging you to let the curtain fall. There is a concept in Taoism called Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless action. We usually apply this to work or art, but it applies just as violently to human relationships. Stop struggling to keep dead things alive. Let the relationships fall away naturally. In autumn, the leaves drop from the tree without any struggle. The leaf does not cling desperately to the branch, and the branch does not mourn the falling leaf. The tree simply pulls its energy inward and prepares for the harshness of winter. Human relationships that are anchored entirely in a dead past must be allowed to fall away with that exact same natural ruthlessness. You do not need to force a dramatic confrontation. You do not need a grand cinematic exit. You simply need to stop watering a dead plant. You send the polite text, "I cannot make it. The world does not end." They might be angry. They might whisper about you. But the moment you put the phone down, a bizarre, entirely alien lightness will wash over you. That lightness is the sensation of a soul finally breathing in oxygen after years of holding its breath underwater. Disappointing them is not a failure of love. It is the highest form of respect for reality. You are refusing to lie to them anymore. And more importantly, you are refusing to lie to yourself. You are choosing the terrifying truth of the present moment over the comforting fiction of the past. Let the old self turn to ash. Let the people who only loved the ash walk away. What remains standing in the center of that fire will finally be real. If you made it to the end, comment "Let the old self rot," and I will personally reply to you. And if this resonated with you, subscribe to be part of this and leave a like if you enjoyed it.